the European Union has ruled against decentralized applications. That's it. The KML rules will close it all down. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. My name is DaVinci Jeremy. I'm in the Pipe 5x5, staying alive here in Dubai. Hope you're doing well wherever you are in this beautiful world. Oh, man, it's crazy. You know, the governments are going to try to stop crypto by any means possible. That means they're going to come up with crazy laws that will stop you from actually using decentralized applications, because decentralized applications are a way for you to get around all the know your customer laws, all the authenticating who you are and all that kind of stuff. AML, sorry, was the next one, is what I was thinking about, which is anti-money laundering laws. All that nonsense. You don't need to do that. You don't need to have to identify yourself to participate in finance. That is a joke. That is just so they can control you, so that they can make sure that you pay your taxes, and they can make sure that you do not produce any wealth. That's what it's all about. And it gets me steaming and boiled, like, as you can tell. Like, all right, so let's get on with the news for the day, and we're going to talk about that. So this news article was sent to me by a friend of mine. Crypto AML rules passed by MEPs, MEPs, or whatever they'll call them. But anyways, they're unelected, basically, people in Parliament of the European Union. They could decide your whole life, the whole rules, and you can't vote them out, just so you know. Oh man, the European Union is like, Germany failed to take over Europe twice in 2 world wars. So instead, they did it using money. And they said, "Hey, come join our union." And you said, "Sure, why not?" Oh man. So, well, at least you didn't point a gun at us. But anyways, okay. Members of the European Parliament's Economic Affairs and Home Affairs committees have voted in favor of anti-money laundering regulations, with a 99 for, 8 against, and 6 abstentions. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, we scroll down. What does it mean for crypto, right? Because you're like, okay, cool. What does it mean? Well, for crypto, there are multiple implications. For one, decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, NFT platforms, OpenSea, right, any NFT platform that you can name, DeFi platforms, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, you name any kind of swap, will be subjected to AML rules, right? They will be obliged to comply as long as they are controlled directly or indirectly, including through smart contracts or voting protocols, by identifiable, natural, and legal persons, according to a draft obtained by the bloc. Okay, so to be clear, AML is anti-money laundering rules. So after a certain amount of money being deposited, you have to provide information on where you got the money and how you obtained this money, and to the central authority, to a central company, and then pass that on to the government, basically, the European government, or even also report any suspicious activity and so forth. It's a very big. The AML rules are very big, right? But basically, it is impossible for a small person to actually accomplish this. If you were to set something up like this, some sort of DeFi platform, and comply with AML rules, you wouldn't be able to do it by yourself. It's not possible. So this destroys innovation, right? Because you can't build something for finance, right, by yourself and just produce it and have computers run it. It's not possible. And so that's the crux of the issue. So this is just prevents people from building this kind of application, and this type of application, finance application that's decentralized, because obviously there's always going to be somebody at the head of this decentralized application or creating it and so forth. So even if you did create it and just was anonymous, right, and you had your address, it's fine. You could probably pull that off, but eventually they'll figure out who you are through your IP, through your your use of any kind of computer systems. Once you start using it and you start sending out messages, they can start to track you down. This creates a big problem, right? But it also creates a big opportunity, right? Let's continue here. Unlike the EU, soon to be enforced markets and crypto assets regulation, the anti-money laundering bill does include decentralized platforms as obliged entities. The aim of AML file is to close the regulatory gap. Okay, yeah. Well, so it is basically them trying to shut down decentralized application. Period. End of story. Right. And then of course, you'll be able to trade crypto through the banks and do everything through the banks, right? Because they already have that infrastructure put in, but you won't be able to do it through decentralized means. Keep in mind, enforcement of such rules is very, 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 very difficult. You'd have to spend a lot of money and a lot of time because, well, anyone could create them. So, for example, the person who created PancakeSwap or Uniswap, he could just drop it and say, "Hey, listen, I'm just not going to do anything, right? This is not mine anymore. I'm not dealing with it, right?" And or design the decentralized application in such a way that, hey, you know what? Anyone can make money off of this. Anyone can can earn wealth off the decentralized app, and I happen to be able to do so too, and same with somebody else. And that's one way, but he'd have to be anonymous because, once again, they will come straight after them. This is a disaster, but not so bad because it's the European Union. The European Union, they're not as bad as the United States when it comes to enforcing their rules. They're going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit difficult for them to do that, to force it to somebody who's in Japan, for example, right? They'll just go, okay, well, good luck on coming to get me in Japan, right? It's just not, they won't bother. United States government, they probably would. So, so that's the only upside for anyone who's building decentralized apps. You just won't be able to go to Europe for most people you know, who build these things, right? You just can't go to anywhere in Europe if you build a decentralized app, and this is seriously enforced. Unfortunately, but that's just the way the ball bounces. The governments, they are trying to stop crypto, and they have to, or else they will lose control. They'll lose control. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the charts here. We're looking at the daily. We can see that the daily has bounced off the 13 EMA, bounced off of some support levels here, and is breaking above. If we go down to the 4-hour, which I love my 4-hour, you can see that we have broken above this rising trend line after failing and retesting it, trying to break above it several times, and now we've broken above. And well, in the next 3 hours, if we close above this is a positive, super positive sign, which could mean that Bitcoin could break out above the 30K level this week. Actually, it's got to do it this week. It's got to do it immediately. The reason why is if it fails again, this will be a rollover down to 25K for sure. A failure, well, not 100% sure. It would be actually it'd have to pass, of course, break down below the 26.5, but once it does that, that's it. We're heading to the 25K level of support, the next level of support. Of course, a failure here, it could probably mean that we'll bounce a few times off of this, off the top here, before we actually, if we fail and come back and fail and come back, we might do that for quite some time before we break down. So we'll just have to play the range and see what happens, right? Will this thing break above? Yeah, I would not get in front of this as a short, but I would go for a long, and we will be looking for a long in the next for today, basically. And you can see there was a long on the 15-minute here. You can see boom, and then it could have taken this all the way up here. You can see this nice W, that W pattern that showed up in the charts. So yeah, and you could also call this a cup and handle as well. So yeah, taking this a lot further up into the 28K again level. So yeah, you can see that this thing is moving to the 28K level. Now, heading over to Ethereum, pretty much the same thing, bouncing off its EMAs on the daily, indicating very positive bullish sign. I could expect this thing to continue higher. So if we can break through fast and not lollygag, because if we consolidate, that means that people will have the weak hands will start to deteriorate and start selling off very, very fast. So it's got to push through, or else we're going to see a breakdown. So the good news is, yes, this looks like we could probably push through, and Ethereum has created a nice cup and handle, and we can see this thing take off well above the 1866 level. So that's awesome. To trade this, right, we're gonna start looking for some sort of trading pattern, right? Or you can actually pretty much buy this level here, and yeah, that is actually correct. Let me just adjust for that. I'm looking at this and realizing that you can buy this level. You can buy in right here, and your risk to reward ratio is pretty decent. I'm going to ignore that wick because it's a little deep, even though we probably did trade below that. This would be a 1-to-1 right here. Target right above. I knew it, right above the 1866, and you can just move this to 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Of course, is this almost 3% risk, so yeah, you can't do too much of a high leverage unless you're using a small amount of money. So keep that in mind. So there you go. There is your trade for today for Ethereum. This is a nice long trade. We should push through this in the end of this week. Let's see what happens. If it does, or if it doesn't, you have to readjust based on what the market is actually doing if we don't hit this target of 1888. Wow. Okay. So, well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure if you're interested in trading, you head over to bybit.davincij15.com or okx.davincij15.com. Links are in the description below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.